Oh, yes. FriYAY. I should probably raise this desk a little bit. Yes, I was doing some video recording and I needed to have my desk lower. It's just a thing. It's FriYAY. I'm really excited about it. I'm waiting for the Instagram to turn on. It's not. Oh, there it goes. Pressing go live on their stream too. Good morning again. I'm excited to be here. It's the last day of the week. Now, for me, it was kind of a short week, so I took Monday and Tuesday off to recover from a very, very long stretch of being at work for the auto show. And I'm excited that I'm taking another break because gosh darn it, I deserve it. March 1st, welcome March, goodbye February. It was a slice. Now I'm ready for warmer weather. March break is coming up. We'll talk about that, not necessarily today, but it's stuff and things to discuss because, we'll have some changes of behavior. People will be out of school for a little bit. All the things, it's not just a month. It's a set of days with stuff and things happening in them, and sometimes they impact the lives of others. Yeah. What do you want to talk about today? Anything in particular? Let's start by saying that we are on a whole bunch of different platforms. We are on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and the platform formerly known as Twitter, now called X, which also supports asking questions. You can actually leave comments and interact with us as though you were on YouTube or one of the other platforms. I will say this, Instagram, we've kind of left you out, and I apologize because I see some people in the Instagram, like I see Stephen, who wants to know if it was cashier time for the auto show. Time exchange, my friend. I was volunteering a lot of that time. Yeah. So we can see you on Instagram. But it's hard to see because you're all the way over there in a window off in the corner. I often forget to look. It's my fault. So much going in the other boxes. Hoping that TikTok works today. I see Paul came in with a good morning, and Neha says, good morning. Loved your TikTok this morning. I had a good laugh. Yes, my hair. Michelle, it was Michelle Mackey from CP24 that did a TikTok a while ago, and I responded a while ago, and it was funny, and I thought I'd share it again. If you have questions and you want to join in, ask them. And if you're on Instagram, come over to YouTube. You can go to youtube.trafficcop.com. You can join us at TikTok or Traffic Services. You can join us anywhere, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Let's see if TikTok's working. Yeah, TikTok's working. I see Paul's morning message. There we go. Cool. Do I see any other messages? Why is Paul's the only one that worked? Oh, no, there's Neha. Okay, it's working. It's good. Very good. What are we going to talk about? So think about things you want to talk about. Let me know what they are. And I am finally rolling out the Apple Podcast and Spotify. I posted last night the one from the 20th. This morning I posted the one from the 21st. I figure I'll post the other two podcasts this weekend, and we'll keep it going so that we're always one behind. I'll post them over the weekend so you have things to think about, to talk about, to listen while you drive if that's your thing. Now, what else can we say before we get into Brandon says, good morning, Sean, and very sorry I've missed the last two. Let's have a safe and amazing day. Yes, indeed. Okay, let's finish with some greetings. We got greetings and salutations from Akela. We covered Brandon's stuff. Also got dad jokes. If you want to submit dad jokes for the show, anytime you want, throw them in there, and I will flag them for later. That's my plan. Northern Pike says, hello, Sean and everyone. Hello. We saw Polly B's good morning. We saw, here's a morning message from Jordan Leduc. We've got March is a cold month from Chase. Is it really going to be cold? Because February wasn't cold up until the last couple of days, and now we're in March. Could March be warmer than we expect? I'm kind of digging the global warming thing if it makes it warmer for me. I don't like wearing jackets. What can I say? Tian says good morning. Julie Massey says happy Friday. And we've got the confirmation that from Neha, who says 'tis working, which is great. We got Canine Ringo, who says good morning. Sean Chen with a FriYAY. FriYAY. I don't know how to say that. Caitlin says good morning it's good morning with a question. So I guess we could tackle that question. No, we're going to put your question off to the back. We're going to come back to it. I flagged it for a second. We got Michael L. With questions. Thank you for hitting the letter Q before your questions, by the way. Doing the greetings, then we're going to talk about Vision Zero enforcement, and then we're going to come back and do that thing we do. Melanie Pico says, happy Friday, everyone. We have Ashton, who says, good morning, my favorite officer. Good morning. I used to say to my favorite Manitoban, but you moved. Where'd you move to? I've forgotten. Michelle Motz says, hi. And question from Dr. Nick, whom we've not seen recently, but is back. Boy Mom 8424 says, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you too. I'm told that Sergeant Campbell, the good sergeant, he's one of many good sergeants, but we've called him the good sergeant for a while now. He's coming in again today, which is good. He takes time out of his busy schedule. He's in charge of a whole bunch of stuff. He takes time out of his schedule to come to hang out with us for a little bit. Now, Emma says same. Does that mean it's good morning? You just didn't want to type good morning. You had to be different. You had to be original. It's Seb, the go-kart kid from the auto show. It was very nice to meet you. It was nice to meet you too. Seb, if I'm remembering correctly, Seb built his own go-kart. It's not like a regular go-kart. He built his own. So we had a discussion about that. Ali Namani says hi. Hi, Ali. Then we've got questions about when do people start riding motorcycles. That's Northern Bike wants to know. We have a dad joke from Neha that we'll flag. Isaac says you look sad. Like right now I look sad? I'm not sad. I'm just digesting. I had breakfast this morning. So normally I skip breakfast. Today I had a big breakfast, which might mean that I'm diverting my brain power to digesting food. What can I say? It's a thing. Where can we ask longer questions? Okay. So Matey Viking wants to know where you can ask questions. You can go to TrafficCop.ca, and there's a button there that says Ask Me a Question. Now, you can't add photos to that because it's a form. But once you do that, I'll respond, and you'll have an email address, and you can respond with an email address. You can also send emails to traffic safety programs at torontopolice.on.ca. It's another way to go, and you can send attachments there. Were you at the Toronto Auto Show last week? Yes, I was. Were you there? Did I meet EC? Yeah. Okay. We got a whole bunch of stuff that's popped in. I love it when things work. I cannot read that font, but good morning and happy Friday to you too. I'm sticking with the Cyrillic. Actually, I can't even do the Cyrillic alphabet. Not well, but I stick to is it the Germanic alphabet? The regular alphabet, my alphabet, the English alphabet. Okay. There was a question about current media stuff with police officers involved in collisions. So the question is, why have I not addressed it? That's anonymous. Because it's not my place to do that. We have a corporate communications unit that will handle those things. It's really outside of the things I should be commenting on. And that's why I haven't been talking about it. A lot of people are asking about it. Stuff in the media that is just outside of the scope of what I do. I'm all about education, and corporate communications handles that stuff. We have a dad joke from my buddy David Stark. And let's see here. Boy Mom says he's also the wrong sergeant. We're talking about Sergeant Campbell. He's the wrong sergeant with his Android choice. Now, are you saying Android as a platform makes him wrong? He should be Apple? I have two Apple devices. Well, I have two Apple phones in front of me. I have an Apple iPad and an Apple laptop. I'm Apple all the way. I used to work for Apple. Yes. Actually, I didn't work for Apple corporate. I was a tech support rep for an Apple reseller back when they were VARs, value-added resellers. Oh, no kidding. Ashton moved back to Manitoba and just had a new baby last night. Congratulations. There's buttons for everything. Neha says, I met Sergeant Campbell at the auto show. He's so nice. Congratulations again, Ashton. That's really great news. He is nice, Neha. I was disappointed that I didn't get to see you at the show because I wasn't there the Saturday that you were there. Emma says, so Emma was in agreement with liking global warming for the fact that she doesn't like warm weather either. Okay, we got questions flagged. Cheyenne Downey says, hi. Hey, not hi, it was hey. Let's see. Good morning, officer from Brockville, Ontario, also known as Brock Vegas. That's a new one for me. I've never heard the Brock Vegas, but hello from Toronto to Brockville. Let's see here. Questions about insurance. We'll talk about that. Cheyenne wants to know how I'm doing. I'm doing good. David Stark says, an undercover cop. Well, my friend is not an undercover cop. Have you seen his channel? Not an undercover cop. The guy who tells you to rub your banana, not your banana, but a banana, on your license plate to prevent photo radar from getting you, or to put a stud finder in the window. He is a great guy. And you may, if you check out his channel, you might even hear my voice on a couple of videos and a couple of live streams. Anyway, just saying. What else is here? Hello from C. And then, okay, we got questions and discussions about unlawful stops. We'll talk about that. What is this? What is the fine there in Ontario for not slowing down and moving over? Okay, we'll talk about that. All right. Before we get into stuff, because I see Sale CNC. And I've left Sale CNC, met up with me at the auto show and knows that I talk about the fact that I'm on the waiting list. I put a reservation in for a Cybertruck, and he decided he was going to deliver a Cybertruck to me right then and there, and into his was it bag or pocket? I don't remember, but he came out with a Matchbox or Hot Wheels Cybertruck, which I meant to bring here, and I left it at home. But I will bring here. It'll become part of the permanent fixture in the studio. Thank you very much for that. That was very kind. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to talk about Vision Zero Enforcement Team. Let's get that out of the way. I don't want to forget, which is entirely possible. VZET, the Vision Zero Enforcement Team, they're a group of dedicated officers who work diligently to change driver behavior. And I do the same thing. I do it through general social media, education, information, Q&A. They do it through enforcement. Education through enforcement is a thing. The idea of a ticket is to remind you that that wasn't a good idea, that thing that you did that got you a ticket. So what kind of stuff do they... I'm doing the reach. I should have probably waited for a pause. I'm doing the reach to get more water. They are focused on the big four. They are looking for people who choose to speed, drive aggressively, drive whilst distracted, and drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And they do a darn good job of it. They write a whole bunch of tickets, which means there's a whole bunch of people breaking the law. And I am personally of the opinion that if you break the law, you deserve the ticket. It's not about chancing it and getting away with it. You should be held accountable for the things you decide to do. And you know why? They're dangerous. Even if you haven't been involved in a collision, doesn't make you a good driver. And the reason I bring it up in that wording is I was recently on or interviewed for an AM 640 Toronto discussion about the fact that like 86% of Ontarians think they're great drivers. You just have to ask them and tell you they're great drivers. It was a survey, so that's how they get that. Most people are not as good a driver as they think they are. And just because you don't crash into something on your way to work every day doesn't mean you're good. It means you're lucky. Could also mean you're due. But doing better behind the wheel is a really big deal. It's really what you should be doing. Where is this magical group of officers focusing their time today? Well, being that it is the 1st of March, they are focused on Vision Zero enforcement duties in 11 Division and 33 Division. They're in Weston, Hyde Park, Rossensvales. They're in Parkwoods, Donalda, Bayview Village, York Mills. Other neighborhoods like that are being addressed too. Those are the ones that I have hashtags for and get posted on our Twitter, our Instagram, and our Facebook pages every morning. But those are neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. It's the thing. We were coming to your neighborhood, you'd probably want us to know, to tell you when we're going to be there, and that's exactly why we post it every morning. Yeah, the folks breaking the law probably don't give a hoot what we're doing. Just a thought. All right. If you want to know where they are every day, you should probably subscribe to our Twitter account at Traffic Services. You could also be looking for us at Traffic Services Toronto on the Instagram. And just a reminder, although I see some messages coming in on the Instagram, that you get a better experience if you join us anywhere else. You go to youtube.trafficcop.com and you can join us on YouTube, which might have the best widescreen experience, although we are widescreen on all platforms now. And that's really exciting. One camera to rule them all. We used to be on 2 cell phones and 1 camera to cover all the different places, but now everyone's supporting the widescreen business, and we're real happy about that. And today, we're getting all the comments coming through too, which makes it extra awesome. Okay, let's get into questions from you, because that's what the show's all about. It really is a show all about you, but I mentioned that, Stephen has a. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I've made a conscious effort here to put questions from other platforms here, and Instagram just gets a bad rap. Okay, we got here. Mo has questions. We're going to put it into the queue. If anyone wondered how big the crew is that supports this show, you're looking at it. It's just me, myself, and I, and we do a good job, I think. Jake here says, "Good morning. I'm retired. Friday's just another day." You know what? It's still a great day. I just like the way it sounds. Even when I'm retired, I think I'm going to enjoy Fridays the most. Oh, Parth wants to know, said, so no one's asked the question, but how's your health? I'm doing all right. I'm healing up more every day. Although I've been having some mobility issues. That auto show took a lot out of me, being on my feet for like 2 weeks. So I'm feeling it, still feeling it. Jake here says, many years since I got a ticket. Did they ever go to have to sign them? You don't have to sign them anymore. Well, you never had to sign the receipt of them, but we don't even sign them anymore. They're electronically issued. Oh. Okay, and Parth was asking about my mental health. I'm doing all right. There's good days and bad days. You know, I recently had some good conversations with people about folks in our lives that we've lost. You know, friends that were on the job that are no longer walking with us and are sadly dead, from whether it be health or other reasons. So you know what? We have a great network here of people. We talk to our friends, and I have friends outside the job that I talk to. So mental health is important, and you absolutely should take care of it. And if you need help, there are people that you can reach out to and talk to. So I appreciate you checking in on me, and I check in on my friends too. So I expand that to everyone here. If you're watching, if you're not feeling right, you know, there are people you can talk to, and there's people who want to help you. So don't sit at home with your feelings alone. Reach out, get some help. It's important. I'm glad we talked about this. Certainly, I'm not the. Maybe we should bring a guest on one day and talk about mental health. Go outside of traffic world and do other stuff. All right. Let me know what you think about that. What is this? Oh, interesting. Somebody, I'm almost going to say is making it. Well, no, they are making a jab. Okay, we'll keep on moving on. David Stark says Apple's the best. Consequences for gently bumping. Oh, yeah. There's someone making a. So actually, here's an. I don't want to go there. There's some interesting things. I get where this person wants to go. Contact does not mean collision under the Highway Traffic Act, and that's what this question is about. Obviously, you have to stop and make sure people are okay. There's discussions that are had, but that's that. I don't want to get into that. Okay. As long as, what is this? Will Ontario have the same laws as Quebec, being able to have no front plate? Don't know. Don't know if they talked about it, but they chose not to go there. Okay. Northern Pike says, you need to use the police sounds more often. Oh, that was the DJ sound. I pressed the wrong button. Catherine Hall wishing congratulations to our friend Ashton back there. Okay. Moving along. Not that I want to, gloss by the congratulatory stuff, but I do want to get to, Brockville, Ontario, too. Oh, we have more than one at Brockvillian. What are Brockvillians? Is there an actual term for someone who lives in Brockville? Let me know. And he has to go, but coming back for dad jokes. Okay, I'm trying to get to the bottom of the list. I flagged so many, I don't want to lose these. Traffic circles, we'll talk about that. Exploring abandoned locations, that's Seb. I love watching those videos, even though they might be breaking the law. Trespassing where they're going. Interesting stuff to watch. Okay, want some penalties for hit and run. Interesting way of asking me personal questions from Darius. Let's see here. How fast can I drive in a 50 zone? 50. I'm simply putting that on screen because it's funny while I scroll back. Okay. What happens if you never get that? Okay. Okay, we're going to scroll back. I've gotten as far as I can for the moment. We have 18 questions in the queue. So, how fast can I drive in a 50 zone? It's 50. It's the limit. The posted limit is the maximum speed you're legally allowed to go. Go 1 kilometer over, you're technically speeding and eligible for tickets. And maybe you should get them. What do you think? Should we go to a zero tolerance camera enforcement system where you just instantly, like, just your license is invalidated? Kind of think of Fifth Element when you're driving and the printer's in your car and it just keeps spitting out notices to you. I kind of like that. I just want people to do the right thing. Follow the law. It's so simple. Okay, so Caitlin was the first question of the day. And they say, good morning. Is having a phone mounted on your car dash vent legal? /vent. Yes, as long as it doesn't interfere with your ability to see out the window. If it's interfering with the driver's view, the area commonly viewed through the windshield, that's a problem. It could be obstructing the driver's view. You could get a ticket for it. If it's on the vent, that is unlikely an issue. If it's on the dash, that's unlikely an issue. It's the suction cup on the window that's really a problem. And even then, it is less of a problem than, it's not something we're running around. I have seen people with GPS, 2 cell phones, iPad, like 7 things stuck to the window. How many things can you stick to your window, Sarge, before you think it's too many?
Front window, side window, back window.
Don't stick things to the window. It's a bad idea. Which
window?
Well, the windshield.
The windshield?
I have seen people with multiple items affixed to the window. GPS, iPad, 2 cell phones, all sorts of gizmos and gadgets, and they are interfering with the driver's view. And for that, I mean, one, maybe you can get away with. And the location, I think, is important because I've seen people who put them right in front of their face.
I would say anybody that's got anything stuck to the window in the swept area of their windshield wipers, that's their primary viewing area, other than their rearview mirror,
Is bad.
It not only bad, but it obstructs your view and it's unsafe.
Is $110 potential dollars but the fact is you can remove it right then and there. So maybe it's just an educational interaction.
Yep. And education the first time, maybe.
Warning.
The second time, maybe not so much.
So Dr. Nick follows up with that saying legal use cell phone mounted on the windshield as a dash cam. So dash cams, if they're good ones, should really be mounted behind the mirror, out of the view of the driver, shouldn't interfere. Could you mount your cell phone there? If you were mounting it in such a way that it didn't interfere, like we just said, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. But get a dash cam. Don't use a cell phone as a dash cam. It's better than nothing, but it is not the appropriate use. You should be recording everything as opposed to reporting moments in time that are triggered by G's.
Right. So it's legal to use your cell phone mounted as a dash cam, but if it blocks any part of your view, then it's not legal.
Well, actually, is it legal? Because if the dash cam is in camera mode and the screen is visible playing what's through.
The screen can't be visible.
Can't be visible. So you'd have to cover it. So yeah, I would say a windshield dash cam phone, not allowed. Just a bad idea. If you put it in such a way or 3D printed a housing that blocked the camera, it's just a bad idea. Now, I have a real pet peeve with the dash cams that are always on. They have a little screen and they're always on. Now, it's not a handheld communication device. It's not breaking the law, but I think it's a distractor and it's a bad idea.
Screen visible to the driver is an offense.
Entertainment, I don't think it counts. It's entertainment device screen. If it's just a video representation of what's in front.
You know what? Mine has the option to keep on all the time or turn off, and I turn it off after 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Mine doesn't even have a screen. Oh, mine doesn't work at all right now. But even I had a black view, and now I have a ThinkWare, and neither one has a physical screen. But I do have the Wi-Fi interface where I can download things to my phone, which I liked until it stopped working. Just saying.
You're not saying, are you?
Nah, I'm not bitter. ThinkWare, if you're watching, I'm calling you later today. I've decided. Okay. Michael, if I have been charged with a crime and choose to remain silent, can that be used to infer bad reason in court? Well, if you were innocent, you would have said something. Isn't that a charter issue? Outside of our normal discussion topics. But because, if you were at the side of the road and you choose to be silent and not answer questions, there's only a few things you have to tell us.
In court, your lawyer is going to tell you to not say anything, or they're going to direct you what to say and when to say it. Does it infer a bad reason in court? No. Are you talking about while you're in court, or are you talking at the side of the road? You said there you've been charged with a crime.
We're assuming in court.
So I'm assuming you're talking about in court. Or you could be charged with a crime in the police station and then released. then absolutely you don't have to say anything.
Generally speaking, lawyers tell people not to say anything. I think that's every movie I've ever seen was like, shut your mouth. And that's probably good advice.
Yep.
Greg Marshall says, good morning.
Good morning, Greg.
Greg, and then Greg, a different Greg. Oh, my mechanic's calling. I have to go get my car back from the mechanics.
Yes.
I'll call him after
You
the show.
broke it.
It broke. I don't think I broke it. My windshield wiper. I had 2 windshield wipers, and then I had 1 windshield wiper, and the other one stopped. Okay.
I told him I'd give him a ticket if he didn't get a fix.
He did say that. We were going to fix it, and then I watched a YouTube video that said it's a lot more complicated just to get at it than simply we were going to, hack around with it and try and fix it ourselves. And
I can pretty much fix anything on most vehicles, but not in the parking lot on my lunch at work.
no, it was more
limited
involved.
tools that I have.
That's it.
Here.
Magic Michaela says, good morning from Shelburne, Ontario.
Good morning. How
Where
is Shelburne?
Where is Shelburne?
Orangeville, north and west of us. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe north and west of where we are.
Alyssa's boyfriend, who, by the way, I ran into at the show and never said, like, we met, but he never identified himself as, at that time, as Alyssa's boyfriend, which is his username. And I would have known exactly who he was. So we met, and then later on TikTok I realized who he was, because we've been talking about him getting on the job.
So he didn't walk up and say, hi, I'm Alyssa's boyfriend?
And that's a major commitment to make your username your girlfriend's name / your title. Like, it's a big thing. Are helmet cams legal? I'm going out of order because I want to flag some new stuff, but since it's here and I'm seeing it, we can talk about it.
It's a controversial, as you found out, topic to enter into. Any modification, including adding or deleting anything from your helmet, modifies it, no longer becomes compliant for road use.
And the big thing that you have to understand is they design it to do a certain thing. One of those things, and people challenge me on this, is that it is designed to have a somewhat slippery surface. It'll glide against the road. At a certain point, it heats up and starts disintegrating on the road. But something like a camera could cause a very abrupt change in direction that your neck faces. That could kill you, and that makes it unsafe.
So on its face, are helmet cams legal? Off-road, yes. On-road, no.
And there are some cameras with cool integrated cameras. You can actually buy one with a camera built in. You have a little SD card slot.
You can buy a camera with a camera
A
built in?
helmet with a camera built in. Yes, I'm doing well today. I said I'm digesting. That's the problem.
You know what? My helmet has a built-in communication system. I got earphones and microphones and all with that. I'm surprised they can't make one built-in that passes the safety compliance.
With the camera built in? They do. They make them. But then you're stuck with whatever that manufacturer's camera quality is. It's not a GoPro. You want a wide angle. It's limited. But it's better than having nothing, and it is also safer. A lot of people want to put them on because they want basically dash cams of their recording, of their riding, which I totally get.
It.
Yeah.
Totally get it. And would totally recommend it. I'd mount it to your bike.
So there are actual dash cams for motorcycles.
Yep.
Waterproof. Really good. My old partner in the motor squad has one on his Goldwing. I think it's awesome. And that's the way to go. You don't need to have it move everywhere you look. You need to have the front and rear camera, and that's it.
Well, unless you want to make TikTok videos and post them. And
Yes. I have a TikTok video. I have a video to show you. It was loud.
Yeah, it was.
This is an interesting one, and I was going to do a TikTok on it, but I figure we can talk about it right now just because we're squirreling. I'm squirreling.
Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm. So
you know what? There's no questions.
there's lots of questions.
I know there is.
I'm going to show everybody else in a second. So this is a cyclist in Toronto with what I think is a 360 camera or a very wide lens, and they post all of their driving, and I think that is.
I think it's sped up.
You think so?
I think you'd have to be crazy to ride that fast with that sort of speed differential in and weaving in and out of the traffic.
I don't know. If it stopped traffic, I think they're actually doing it. We'll have to have further investigations. In other words, I'll watch it again after the show. But I think that is horribly unsafe. I would charge them for potentially careless driving.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. I'll send them an email later saying, turn yourself in. Let's see here. Not having a plate registration, good idea or bad idea by the province?
I don't like the idea of having to pay a road tax. I didn't like paying my $90 a year for Southern Ontario. I especially do not like paying it for my snowmobile that is not allowed to be operated on roadways. But having a plate registration is a good idea, and a reminder that every couple of years you have to show proof of insurance. You have to make sure your driver's license isn't under suspension, that you don't have outstanding fines or fees. Now the whole idea is up to you to check, and if you get caught driving with one that's expired or suspended or not valid, then you're going to get a ticket. And
But it's not that there is a plate. You have to register your plates.
you have to register.
You have to renew them
Right.
right now every 1 or 2 years. And what they're changing really is the automation of that, because so many people without the sticker forget. So they're going to make it automatic, and it's free. So there's no reason to interact with anybody unless there is something on your plate that prevents it, which I imagine they're going to notify you about. How else would you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The obligation would be on you to check it, which really isn't, I don't know.
Would it be on you? I think that if they don't renew it and everybody else on the planet renews it, how would they?
This is the government we're talking about here.
Okay, so the kingdom of bad ideas. Let's see here.
So do I like the fact that we're not paying for it anymore? Love it.
There is
Do
that.
I like the fact that I still have to pay for it for my off-road vehicle? No.
I miss the stickers. I like the stickers. I was able to investigate whilst driving by. Valid, not valid. There was clues.
Yeah, but the ALPR is supposed to do that. The
Yes.
automatic license plate reader is supposed to do that for you.
Rear view mirror cam. That's an interesting suggestion. Paul has a rear view mirror cam.
So it's built into your vehicle and displays through your rearview mirror?
I don't know. We don't know about the display, but there's a camera possibly pointed rearwards. Now, my rear camera, when it was working, was pointing it was all the way to the back of the vehicle, out my rear window, and I like that.
So I have a built-in one of my vehicles. I can either use the rearview mirror as a mirror, or there is a camera in the back that displays exactly the same thing that the mirror would display, except when there's tall people like my son sitting in the back seat and I can't see past him because
Yours is cool.
he's your size, but it takes up an awful lot of the back seat.
So you have the rear view camera
I have a
that
rear view
replaces
camera
your whole mirror.
and I have the option to do either.
I like that.
I like old school.
Carl says good morning, by the way.
Good morning, Carl. I like old school. I'm an old school kind of guy, but it's pretty neat.
Stay Mad says, I have a sick new Yamaha bike. May I have an exemption to rip 200 miles per hour wheelies on the perimeter? I'm guessing. I don't know what perim means.
Yes, I'll give you 100% exemption as long as you're doing it on the track.
That perimeter of the track.
There you go.
There's your exemption on a racetrack. Okay.
And what kind of bike did you get?
Now we want to know. We're bike guys. We like bikes.
So, sick new Yamaha. I want to know which one.
Okay. Can we have a tint question? Where can I test my car's top speed? The track.
100%
Exactly.
on the track. And you know what? They have public days. You can take your car out to the track.
That's like $40 or $50 you get to test your metal.
As long as you have insurance and and I found out, as long as you don't have a plug in your tire.
Oh.
They will not let you on the track.
They
if you
inspect
have-
your tires.
They actually do. So my old Mustang that I was taking out on the track for a track day, they wouldn't let me go. I had to buy new tires.
Cassandra wants to know how much new officers make, which is a perfect segue. It's also 10:30, so it's a perfect segue to remind everybody who we are, where we work, and how you can become a member of the police service. And I do that by going to the Toronto Police Employment Unit page. I love it when segues remind me to do this because otherwise I sometimes forget.
And we have 5 brand new officers just arrived
We should
yesterday.
get them to come in on the show.
We should.
So Cassandra, to answer your question, you can go to our
How much
website.
they make.
It is we'll find out what the salaries are right now. So the website to get this information is www.tps.ca/careers. And once you arrive, you will get to this page, seeing smiley people who love working here. They may be paid to look like that. I don't know.
One of them's Erin.
That's right. Well, does she smile like that anymore?
No,
Less, slightly less.
She's engaged, so
That's it.
maybe that has something to do with it.
If you go to police constable, because this is what we're talking about in particular, you can scroll down. Not only can you see that big old button that says apply now, because we're looking for people all the time, you can find out what the requirements are. And I'm not stopping there because the question was, how much do they make? And that's the answer right there. When you are hired and you start as a cadet in training, that means while you're at the Toronto Police College, the Ontario Police College, back to the Toronto Police College, until you actually graduate and
Get sworn in.
Sworn in as a police constable 4th class, you're making $68,864 a year. 4th class constable is the minute you are graduated, sworn in, and now performing the duties of a police officer. Does that last for 12 months if you're in the top 25, 14 months otherwise? I think that's what it is.
I believe it's been so long.
It's been a while. If you're in the top 25%.
I was about to say, if you're in the top 25%,
I think it's 12 months.
You graduate or you move on to the next class
2 months earlier. That's why I think it's 14 months and maybe it's 12 months and 10 months. I don't remember. Anyway, if you're in the top 25%, you get a little bit of a bonus that way. So when you graduate, 76,533. 3rd class constable, your next bump, 87,476. And they're roughly a year. Assuming everything goes well, you can be held back. A 2nd class constable is 98,409, and a 1st class constable is someone who gets $109,338 per annum.
Plus all the benefits that you have listed right down there.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Compensation and benefits. Full-time employees of the Toronto Police Service receive family health care, family dental, vision, hearing care, pay direct, pharmaceutical cards. You don't pay for your meds and get reimbursed. They just pay for them. Life insurance, paid vacation, on-site fitness facilities, which we then pay for. We still pay. I'm a member of the AAA, so the Amateur Athletic Association. I pay a fixed amount per month, and that means I only pay like $60 or $70 a year for the use of the gym. But if you're not a member, you pay more, like a lot more. We have access to police credit union, OMERS pension plan, employee family assistance plan, and parental leave. There you go. And then they tell you a whole story about what it's going to look like. Your whole life. Now, since we're here, not everybody wants to be a police officer.
What? Why?
I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Some people want to do other things. Maybe you want to be a special constable working inside of a division, assisting with booking, or working in the court system, prisoner transportation, which we both started doing. We were prisoner transportation and court security. Then parking enforcement officer, great opportunity. That's what Aaron does. They keep the city moving. The unsung heroes of the traffic problems in the city.
So I saw Erin at the car show.
Mm-hmm.
She was there, and she, like you, probably some of the most recognized people there. And everybody seemed to love Erin, so
more than me.
for her.
She's a likable person, and they ride bicycles.
Yeah.
They all ride bicycles. Communications operator are the folks who answer the phones and dispatch the officers. Again, unsung heroes. You never see them directly as you call them if you're in need of help, but most people don't realize those aren't police officers. Then we have volunteers and civilian roles. My favorite button to press. What is on the offer table today? Exactly what was offered last time. So communications operator positions are open, and digital team developer position is open. This one closes when? March 15th. That's right. Things change. They change a lot, and they change quickly. So if you want to shop for jobs, you have to check regularly, because it changes, and no one's going to call and tell you that new things are posted. That's it. All right. Balloons, helium. What do we got here? Boom, boom, boom. I want to scroll through. Let's go back up. We have 27 things posted waiting for comment. All right. When do people start riding motorcycles? Like what time of year? There are people who are riding motorcycles right now. Not a good idea necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not one of them.
No.
Motorcycle tires, like summer tires, they work best in the warmer environment.
There are cold weather tires you can buy.
There are. I don't have them. I drive a Harley, so salt and Harleys, they don't mix.
Chrome, corrosion, yuck.
Yep.
Like we take so much pride in our motorcycles. You clean them constantly. If it's dirt, never mind salt and other things sprayed to prevent snow from accumulating or ice from forming. These are things that do not go well with chrome.
Well, it don't go well with any metals, but cars are a little more protected than motorcycles are, just the way they're manufactured.
Our friend Pekka used to have a three-wheeled. It was actually what do they call it? It was a Russian, or
it was it was a motorcycle with a sidecar.
But it had two-wheel drive. It had a drive train or axle that went through, so you had two-wheel drive in the back of the sidecar. Because it What's it called? Someone in the audience knows what this is called, and they can let us know.
All right.
But I can't think of it right now.
So is there any limit when you can ride your motorcycle? No. You can ride your motorcycle until it is unsafe to do so. If you have to ride your motorcycle like maybe somebody did when he was a kid,
Feet down.
with your feet down to try and make it home,
Bad idea.
totally unsafe, and you could get stopped and charged for that.
There's a lot of people who ride their e-bikes that way, never putting their feet on the pedals. They don't know what they're doing, and they're dangerous.
Yep.
But they're out there riding every day. Do I have to hand over my license to a cop if I think he unlawfully pulled me over? Jamie, why would you think it's unlawful? Now, in the province of Ontario, every vehicle stop is lawful, really, because I can stop to check if you're a licensed driver. I can check to see if you have insurance. I can check to see if you're sober. I can check to see if your vehicle is status. Those are all valid reasons that exist 24/7 all the time for anybody who's driving a motor vehicle. So there's always a lawful reason. Now,
And I don't have to tell you either if I'm investigating something.
that's right.
You know what? I do out of common courtesy. Do I have to?
No.
No, not at that point.
And what happens when you don't give us your license? Well, if you don't have it with you, but we can figure out your identity, you only get a $110 ticket. But if you refuse to identify because you figure you are above or somehow not required to, you might find yourself getting arrested.
Yep.
That
And
is
held
bad.
until your identification can be confirmed, and then you get charged for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no offense.
So bad idea.
Yep. You know what? We have a court system. If you feel that you've been pulled over unlawfully, which really, like you said, there's not very many times you can be unlawfully pulled over. That's what the court system's for. And we totally understand that you may have a different feeling than we have, or maybe have some legal advice different than we have. That's the avenue to take it, to dispute it.
Don't fight at the side of the road. Bad things happen. Best thing to do is make your complaints afterwards. They'll be investigated. If they were found to be justified, obviously steps will be taken. If you say, well, I was only picked up for, because I had a red hat on. Okay. If you think that's the reason you were pulled over and that you want to make a complaint about it, by all means, it'll get looked into.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. This is Cassandra who wants to know, hi, do I need to be on my parents' insurance now that I have my G2 and can drive their car? So this is a thing that depends on the insurance company, but 99% of the time, from our experience, it is that, yes, once you are a G2 driver, you must be listed and pay as a secondary driver if you live with your parents.
I have not heard of any insurance company that has anything different than that.
The insurance
Especially
companies,
if you're under the age of 25.
the insurance companies don't like to give you stuff for free.
You know what? I'm one of those guys that pays an awful lot of money every year for all my toys for insurance. I can only drive one thing at a time. So I know my insurance policy pretty well. And no, they don't really want to give you stuff for free.
So yes, make sure. G1, they don't want your information. They might record it for just to have, but they don't make you pay. You really want to make sure you do exactly what the insurance company wants, because in the event that they do want you to pay or be on the insurance and you aren't, well, they can deny your claim.
And at the side of the road, though, if you're a G2 driver and you surrender proof of insurance and the vehicle is insured, we wouldn't be issuing you a ticket for it.
It's not against the law.
But if something was to happen, you may find yourself in a bad situation.
But here's a bonus, because people say, well, I don't want to pay the $80 or $100 a month, because it's usually nominal to be insured. But it starts your insurance.
Years of driving experience.
Your relationship with the insurance company. They're reviewing you now. You've got a relationship. When you go to have your own car, you should see lesser rates, lower prices.
Right, as opposed to being insured for the very first time.
Right. That's the thing. It's not about how many years you have your license. It's about how long they can track your driving.
Is that the thing?
Mm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is, to say you've been licensed for 25 years, but you've never had an insurance policy, suggests you don't have the experience behind the wheel. Also, if you have a professional driving course, they give you the status of having 1 year's experience when you buy that policy for the first time. But it's really weird how they do things. There's math people, big math people.
You know what? An insurance policy is a private contract between the person who takes it out and the insurance company. Check with your policy, read the documentation, make sure.
That big thing that nobody reads.
The big thing.
Papa 1971, who asked like 5 minutes ago, and I put it on screen, what is the fine there in Ontario for not slowing down and moving over?
For an emergency vehicle?
Or a tow truck with its license or its lights active at the side of the road.
Yep.
I think it's $4.95.
I do believe you are correct, and I believe there's points involved with it as well.
So while we look that
I'll look
up,
up the points.
I will say that we're working on the road. We appreciate when people slow down and move over because you're protecting us while we're out doing what we need to do. Choosing not to pull over, really, I've given people warnings on the street verbally whilst giving back their stuff and then chasing down the person that just buzzed the power.
Yep. I pulled in to back up a fellow officer. I had parked just in front of them, just waiting to make sure his traffic stop was going to go well. Somebody came flying by, didn't slow down, didn't move over, had ample opportunity to do that. They got a ticket. And then that officer came and backed me up.
Nice. You're still searching. I will talk about Mr. Off-Road. Question on traffic circles and groups of bikes going through. Are 2 bikes allowed at the same time? So can a pack of 50, on-road bicycles? I'm assuming bicycles, go through at the same time? Technically, it should be 1 vehicle at a time, but I don't know if a bicycle, I don't know. Would it be a violation if they all went through the traffic circle as one giant?
You're talking about roundabout traffic
Roundabouts.
As long as you can enter the traffic circle and there's no oncoming traffic already occupying that traffic circle.
Then there would be nothing unlawful.
Then, just like every car, you can go one after another after another. No problem at all.
Yeah. But if there was anybody that you had to yield to, you'd have to break up the pack.
Yep.
Because your obligation is to yield to whomever's in. I'm glad we talked about this because I've never thought about it through this lens.
Just to get back to emergency vehicle or tow truck, $4.90, like you said, 3 points.
I said $4.95. I was off by $5. $4.90. Okay, cool.
$4.90 and 3 points, and I thought it was actually 4 points. Now, the police don't give out the points. The ministry does.
Who does?
And it's up to them. They assign the offenses and they manage the points.
And the idea of points, most people think this impacts your insurance. They don't care. Points don't in fact, they don't affect your insurance. What they do is they allow us to track, or the ministry to track your driving. And ultimately, when you accumulate too many points, you lose your license. Other things happen. They write you letters. They say, stop being a bad driver. You should know better. Nasty grams.
So the point tally is usually for moving violations, usually the ones that are most dangerous. It just determines what type of driver and your history that you are.
What are the legalities regarding exploring abandoned locations, urban exploring? This was something I touched on briefly. I love watching these videos online.
Yep.
There was a guy who went into an abandoned aircraft carrier in, I think, China that was supposed to be converted. Like it was sold by the military. It was supposed to be like a playground or some kind of amusement park, and it's just being left idle. And he like swam or took a boat and crazy stuff. I love watching these. Is it illegal? You're trespassing in most cases, and that's where you may find yourself. Also, it could be very dangerous.
I'm going to say you're trespassing in all instances.
Well, some abandoned places may not be. They may not have signs posted, but you are technically on somebody's land.
Yeah, somebody owns it somewhere.
Yes,
including the government. Now, Crown land, you have a right to be on Crown land unless you're doing stuff that is prohibited on Crown land.
So read the signs as you enter. Because it's usually for everything you pass by. But I've seen, again, remarkable photos and places I will never go because I'm not doing what they did. But very, very interesting. I would avoid that and use great caution. And
if you're in abandoned subways or down in sewers or
looking for trouble,
urban exploring into abandoned buildings, yes, you could be charged for trespassing, engaging in prohibited activity.
If anything gets damaged,
could be mischief. Or it just could be
deadly.
Yeah, dangerous.
Very dangerous. And get your tetanus shot. The size of the rats and the animals that are living in there sometimes, or people, can be very dangerous.
But cool. I'd like to.
It is cool.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah. And there could be more serious things if you're base jumping or doing some silliness there. There's all sorts of ways to get in trouble. Penalty for hit and run. Both vehicles involved occupied, being driven, not parked. So there's a collision, there's damage, no one stopped to exchange information, no one stopped to check on anybody else, and one person took off.
So both Highway Traffic Act and Criminal Code charges could apply. Failing to remain, failing to report. Both of them failing to exchange information.
Failing to check on the what is it, life, what is the wording? Necessities of life or
it's not
something like
that.
that.
Render assistance.
Yes.
Yes, render assistance. So you have to render assistance if you're involved in a collision directly or indirectly. Even if you're a passenger, you have to render assistance. And if you don't, that's a charge.
Yes. Michael, we talked about this earlier, but I figure I'll hit it again because why not? How fast can I drive in a 50 zone?
Somewhere in there, there's a clue.
Yes. It's probably a sign.
There's probably a sign.
It probably says 50 on it.
So technically 50 is 50. You can't go 51.
This is true.
Will you get stopped? I don't know.
Now,
Could you? Yes.
Somebody said, what was it? It was, if I'm passing, no, where is it? I'm sure I flagged this. It's like, how much can I go if I'm passing somebody? Here it is. I found it. Can you go over the speed limit to overtake another vehicle? No.
So in the driver's handbook, not that I have read it lately, but in the driver's handbook, it tells you to go out and accelerate as rapidly as safe to do so to get past a vehicle.
But I imagine, and maybe it's an assumption, they mean like accelerate to the speed limit, accelerate. I don't think it means accelerate to any speed, because these laws are generally assuming that you're passing someone who's going much slower than the speed limit. Yeah, there's no.
You're assuming that.
I'm assuming,
silly man.
But when it doesn't state anything, I think it's safe to say that it's talking about within the legal parameters set forth by laws and stuff.
So once again, technically, you can accelerate to the speed limit. Technically.
Yeah.
We're technical kind of guys.
We're all about technicals. Techniques.
The law is very technical.
Yeah. Tickets are basically just a fast/fun tax. They're also a danger/stupid tax. There's a whole bunch of things. If you're doing dangerous things, if you're doing things deemed to be dangerous, but are also fun, because sometimes they go together, yeah, it's an educational tax. It is there to remind you that you should not have been doing what you did and maybe dissuade you from doing it again.
The reason there are tickets and fines and laws prohibiting certain behaviors is because somebody before us went and did it and something really, really bad happened. And the government said, well, the people of this country or this province need a law or a rule in place to stop them from doing it. So
like a reminder.
Keep others safe. Trust me, I get it. I absolutely get it.
He's the go fast on every version of vehicle ever.
I totally get it. In the right place, at the right time. I get it. I agree.
What happens if your ticket doesn't show up online?
I would check. I would check to make sure to see what happened.
Never assume it just went away.
Yeah. Sometimes it does. Sometimes, especially during COVID, sometimes without even being noticed.
Swaths of them were just removed.
They were charter rights trial within a reasonable amount of time. Section 11B of the Charter Rights.
They just whipped them away.
Got rid of a whole bunch of them. And nobody was notified. So you got away with it. But
check with the court.
Don't assume that happens, because you may not actually have a valid driver's license because you might have gotten convicted in absentia.
Yes, if they determined that if they notified you but you never got it, you changed addresses, something happened, the mail got lost, you could have been suspended for unpaid fines.
Yep.
Yeah. Rear view mirror screens would be illegal then. So we were talking about the dash cam or the phone being on.
The handheld communication device?
Well, the screen visible to driver.
The entertainment?
And it's usually an entertainment device or handheld device, screen visible to driver. I believe that's what it's meant. It's under the distracted driving, so it only applies to those two things. And they're saying very, very rightfully so. If it was all screens, then it would be illegal because of the fact that.
I agree.
But there. Yeah, and I think very specifically it's handheld or handheld entertainment, handheld communication or entertainment devices.
It actually says the display screen of a television, computer, or other device in the motor vehicle that is visible to the driver.
Oh, so it's anything.
There is some exceptions, though.
Okay.
The display screen of a GPS system, a handheld wireless communication device that is prescribed for the purpose of 78.1, a logical transportation tracking system, the ones that are used on
big rigs,
big trucks,
or delivery vehicles,
a collision avoidance system, instrument gauge or system that is used to provide information to the driver regarding the status of various systems of the motor vehicle. So, you know what? The LED or LCD display.
A dash cam or a rearview mirror?
No, of your speedometer. Like
Yeah.
we don't have
that's
old
screen.
school speedometers anymore.
Yeah.
So technically, but there's your exemption right there.
Doesn't specifically say cameras or backup cameras, but mirrors and backup cameras are now instruments. Maybe.
Yeah, makes you think.
Things change. Technology has developed faster than the laws change. That's the truth. LOL King 14 says, how long does it take detectives to investigate a smash and grab when they have license plates of cars?
Smash and grab, you're talking about a business or a...
Oh, this could be so many different things. It takes how long it takes. There's so many different things being investigated. It's not one detective dropping everything and taking on a 3-episode miniseries to deal with that particular case. They're multitasking.
Right. But plus, we have to identify the person. And that is the biggest, hardest part is to identify the person. Yeah, we can identify a car. Yeah, we can look into maybe who was possibly driving it at that time, maybe not, gather the evidence around it. But to lay a charge for something like that, you have to identify the person.
And you know what else happens? People steal license plates. It just happened to my friend Joseph, lost his license plates. We had a radio personality on News Talk 1010, lost his plates to theft recently. Bad people steal plates to commit offenses and then dump the plates. Like they do these things. It's a thing. So just doesn't
how
mean
long
it's
does
a
it
thing.
take? It depends on how involved it is.
Yes, it depends. We have Christina Bergen. One says, is it okay to hang a keepsake behind your rear view mirror? And that sort of applies to, like we said earlier, if it doesn't block your view, if it's not interfering with your ability to see through the window, it's probably okay. The furry dice, the 27 CDs, the 732 fresh smell trees, the evergreen stinky things. Can't stand those things. Those interfere with your ability to see.
If they're blocking, then even one keepsake could be your
Could be a problem. Yeah, if it's a 7-pound brick, it's
like common sense.
Vladimir. What if you buy a vehicle but don't register it until later? You have 6 days legally to register it, and you have to have it insured. And if you're registering it, if you don't register it, if it's not
insured,
blah blah blah. If you have a vehicle,
back it up. You don't to register your vehicle. You don't have to have it insured.
No, you have to be driving on the road. You have to have it insured.
But that's not what he's asking.
It's true. So if you buy it and you don't drive it, you have 6 days to register it.
Yep. Doesn't need a safety. Don't have to have insurance.
But it can't be driven.
It can't be driven on a roadway.
Right. If it's going to be driven and you have unattached plates that are unattached status, not that you unattach them from one vehicle and put them onto another vehicle, but they have the status of unattached from your previously owned vehicle, then you could put them on. While insurance is applied, your insurance has to be active on the vehicle, and you could take that safe vehicle for the road and transport it home, and you have still 6 days to use and register.
Yes, as long as the vehicle previously was owned was unfit status. If it was unfit status, then no, you can't do that.
Good things to know.
So 6 days, switch it over, put it in your name, and then take your time in doing what you need to do to get it fixed.
To make it safe.
Legal. You can also get a trip permit for it, 10 days.
10 plates.
Cost a little bit of money and allows you to drive a fit, previously statused vehicle on the roadway where you're getting it fixed. If it comes to you and it is not fit, you can't get a temporary trip permit.
No. Big thing, you don't want to get pulled over and be responsible for the tons and tons of tickets for driving an unsafe vehicle on the road.
Yeah, and then the towing.
Mm-hmm.
Towing's expensive now. The government changed the laws within the
Messed it
province
all
of
up.
Ontario, and getting something towed right now is very, very expensive.
It used to be a couple $100. Like there was maxed out. We had city control over the maximum charge. A friend of mine
At collision scenes.
At collision scenes.
Yep.
A friend of mine got towed from a collision scene, $1,500
Oh, yeah.
for a simple tow to the CRC.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen them higher. Unfortunately,
CRC is Collision Reporting Center.
there are some very, very, very good tow operators out there, some very good business people,
Some that are not.
and some that are not.
Can you explain if someone G1 can go drive with a G2 person?
Nope.
Let me translate that.
Okay,
if
actually,
you
yes, you can, but
on private property where you don't need a license,
4 years,
G2.
G2. No, it has to be fully licensed.
Fully
but
G.
your G2 time counts for your 4 years.
So if you have a G1, you need to be supervised by a qualified G-class driver. A G-class driver that is qualified means they have 4 years experience and their clock starts as a G2. So if they have 2 years as a G2, 2 years as a G, 4 years combined, and they have the 4 dots,
I was going to say, and their driver's license has been updated to include the 4 dots.
then they can supervise you. And they cannot take you on a, what is it called? A controlled access highway. Because every road in Ontario is a highway, but the controlled access ones that we call highways more often than not, those require a licensed instructor, not a licensed driver, but a licensed professional driving instructor. So that's the explanation. G1 can only go with a G-class license who qualifies. There you go. Can you have tint on your side mirrors? Why would you want tint on your side mirrors? Now, it's not regulated that I'm aware of.
Nope.
So you probably could have it. But that's got to be one of the silliest things I've ever heard. And I've heard it before. That's why I'm saying it.
I'm not laughing at you, but I was just thinking the same thing. They're there to help you drive, and you want to make it harder?
And then you take, let's say you tint the windows, which are limited tint permitted. Like you can have some tint. But you tint your mirrors. Now you've doubled up the amount of effective tint or light, or we've reduced even more so the light coming through. So it may look real snazzy while you're not in the vehicle, but you're going to make your driving less safe. And
I was going to say, and if you've done that so much that your mirrors become non-functional, it's like not having a mirror there at all, and you're required to have one.
And we call it a clue. And there's a collision, and we investigate. We write stuff down. The insurance company gets copies of that stuff. They may choose to maybe not cover your claim, deny your claim, because
I would put in big asterisks on my collision report.
No mirrors or
side windows tinted. Whatever.
Mirrors tinted.
Do you think the insurance company is going to read that in big asterisks?
You will suddenly become more involved. Like they will rank. They could have it all fault to one driver, but when they start seeing things like modifications, by the way, any modification from stock could be a reason that an insurance company decides to not cover you. Could. I've heard of an exhaust. Now it was reversed after a big media thing where the investigative journalist goes and sees a guy who had his insurance claim denied because he put a aftermarket exhaust system on the car. They said, we insured this vehicle that is no longer, it's now modified from stock, and they didn't want to accept the claim.
Maybe they didn't want to pay out for the upgraded, probably more expensive exhaust system.
It was a big to-do. It was all over the news, or at least on one channel who did the story. Let's see here. There are some delivery bikers in downtown biking all over the road, even there when there's a separate bike lane. They don't have to use the bike lane. They can be in the right side of the lane. I don't think there's any law that says biking outside the bike lane is against the law.
No, it isn't. But you know what? Zooming all over the road is outside the law.
Mm-hmm. Depends what you mean.
We see it all the time.
But if you mean all over the road, like they're making a left turn, they're allowed to be making lane changes into those lanes. Yep. The bike lanes are there for their protection. If they choose not to use them, they have to follow all the rules of cyclists who cycle in areas without bike lanes. Is it illegal to warn flash oncoming vehicles of radar ahead? Regardless of its legality, which we'll talk to in a second, it is not something that I think is morally correct to do. You're flashing somebody, which could be blinding people, so there's a legal issue because it's using your high beams improperly if you're within 150 meters of oncoming traffic. So you could get a ticket for that. But you are telling people to change their behavior temporarily to avoid a ticket so they can then speed up as soon as they pass the police vehicle to then continue their dangerous driving and then possibly hurt somebody.
And these are the people that are actually driving at you and around you. And you want them to get away with driving dangerously around you? That just, I don't know. That's counterintuitive.
I think it's a bad idea.
Maybe it's a nice thing if you know the person specifically. Well, if you don't,
you got to do someone a solid and save them a ticket. But that person goes on to go kill somebody,
or you later, or
you another day, another time. The whole goal is to get them ticketed, get their licenses revoked if they're bad drivers, and take them off the road so they're no longer an issue.
The whole idea is to change their behavior so that it's safer for everybody.
Yeah, I like that.
And yeah, there is a ticket for improper use of your high beams.
That's it. What if a police officer misses a stop sign without any emergency lights on? Even if they miss the stop sign with their emergency lights on.
Can't go through a stop sign.
Not allowed. There's no exemption. No. We can go through a red light, but we have to come to a stop before it. We have to make sure it's safe to go through. And same thing goes for stop signs, other than the fact that we don't need lights on because we're allowed to go through it when it's safe to go through.
We may go out of turn.
That's different, yes.
But we have to stop.
Yes.
And what happens if they miss? Well, they can get a ticket. we can get fined. We can get an internal investigation done. We could lose hours.
And those, if you lose hours, it escalates.
Yep.
4, 8, 16, bad things happen. Isabel Suave, yeah. Good morning from Kingston, Ontario. What is the legal limit of window tinting, and can you do side mirrors? Second person
I think it's probably the same person.
You think so?
I'm thinking so.
Could be, but there was more. I lost it already.
Okay.
But there was more to it. Before it was just about side mirrors.
No,
Either way, we covered the side mirrors and the legal window tinting. The windows left and right of the driver are regulated. You cannot have more than 30% light blockage, meaning 70% of the light has to get through. That's the story.
If you combine that on top with tinting your mirrors,
Well, I was going to say that that's for certification. It doesn't mean that you are not getting a ticket for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle, because let's say daytime happens, and that happens usually during the day, and I might be able to see you all the time in the day, but when you drive at night in low visibility, low light situations, your car interior may be, well, not visible, and that would make it obscured because of the tint, and that would make you eligible for a $110 ticket. The over 30% would make you eligible for unsafe vehicle charges, where you'd lose your license plates. And I was thinking about this yesterday as I drove past a G-Wagon that had the windshield opaque. All windows they could have been solid. Maybe he was using a periscope to see. I don't know, but I would have pulled that vehicle over and would have charged them for unsafe motor vehicle. And I saw some ads on Instagram for removable tint, like when the cops come, just pull it off. And it's like a vacuum seal, some kind of mount. All these things are stupid. Don't tint your windshield. Don't tint things illegally. Your car will look much better if it's not smashed up and you're not hurt. And that's what happens when you hit people, because your windows are too dark.
you're talking about driving in daytime?
Daytime, nighttime,
You know
anytime.
what? I went up to Iqaluit, which is in Nunavut. The sun only rises for about an hour every day during a certain time of the year.
Yes.
But even daytime or nighttime, it was dark.
Bad time. It's a bad time.
It's great time.
Let's do some dad jokes.
All right. Are we done?
Well, it's 11:06, and we have shorter. I don't have time today to go long. So, 3 conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. Don't tell me that's a coincidence. A Yogi Berra quote: "It was impossible to get It was impossible to get a conversation going. Everybody was talking too much." It's
I
not.
like it.
You like
it's not
that?
a joke, but I like it. I like it.
So what do we do? We'll give it a Wookiee. Okay, dad joke. I went to a really emotional wedding last week. Even the cake was in tears. 3 tears.
I get it. I get it.
I don't mind that
Actually,
one.
that one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's low key
Yeah, I like
good.
that.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon's new to the dad joke game. He brought his game strong today.
Yeah.
We got Niha with a joke. I'm so glad we have good jokes coming in. Helium walked into a bar and was told the bar didn't serve noble gases. He didn't react.
You know what a noble, not spelled that way.
Yeah, it's inert.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Very smart. I
Yes,
like it.
I like that you gave it.
Yep. I like that one.
And maybe a little extra.
What is that?
That's it. Ewok. So this is
That
Chewbacca.
one I know.
That's it. That's an Ewok.
You're so key.
Smaller. Dad joke from my buddy David Stark. Okay. What do you call a police officer in bed? And did he give me an answer? No.
Oh.
He didn't give me the punchline. I don't think I can get
You
it now.
probably did. And
then it
didn't
was in 2
star it.
parts. Oh, well. We missed it. I'm looking for the punchline. Come back and give me
What do
the
you call a
punchline.
police officer in bed? A sleeping policeman.
Sleeping? Asleep. I don't know.
A sleeping policeman is a speed bump
Oh.
in England.
Oh, maybe. We got, okay. See, I don't like it when the punchline is separate because I never find it. They said, joke, how can you make your wife make you, what is it? How can your wife make you so angry and mad at the same time?
I don't know.
They didn't give the answer.
I don't know.
So we can't do it. Captain Foley from Trek Yard says, morning, guys. And with a live long and prosper. I didn't know that live long and prosper. I have to show that. There's actually the emoji for that. That's great. I like it. Do they read the comments?
Sometimes. You know what? It all depends. If we have a moderator in there, they will read all the comments and forward the ones to us that are good questions or appropriate or things like that. We can't get through everything. It's only Sean and his scrolling mouse, and
We just can't keep up with
we're
it.
talking to you and reading at the same time and trying to pick out the ones that
It's
are
a new
good,
skill.
and it
was something
is.
I'd never done before doing this. Let's see here. This is Forgotten Senior says, about my tint, it is because I take a drug that makes me break out in sunshine. I have a letter. In Ontario, there's no exemption for medical to have tint. So while other jurisdictions may offer you that ability, we don't have that here. Now, if it's UV that you're reacting to, there are clear UV coatings that you can get. Most of those are already done in the car when you buy it these days.
Yep.
However, if it doesn't, if you have an older vehicle or if you need more protection, you can get additional non-tinting films that stop UV. Other things you can do, sunglasses, visors that you can wear. 'Cause while the windows are regulated, the visor is not, as long as it doesn't impact your ability to safely operate the vehicle. And there are clothing that have UV protection. In addition to blocking the sun, they actually have rated UV protection. So things you can look at. But in Ontario, if you had windows with tint that was illegal, you would get charged, and it is not fun.
Yep. Having a letter does not make any difference at all.
There you go.
Now, having a letter from a doctor for certain other things.
Seatbelts, which I don't agree. I mean, I understand some people need it, but I feel naked without a seatbelt. I can't drive without a seatbelt. Not to mention the bing bong that goes on drives me bananas.
You're talking about the warning
The
thing.
warning signal, I would just lose my mind.
And your letter from a physician saying that you're exempt from wearing a seatbelt can't be written in handwriting and Dr. Scribble. And I've had so many of them turned over to me to go, sorry,
It's still wet.
this doctor doesn't even exist.
So the Forgotten Senior says, my windshield is not tinted, side windows are. And as long as they aren't tinted beyond the legal limits, you're okay. And even then at night, the limits of, it's a very mild tint that's allowed, truly. Oh, so Zrill Jack came back with the same question again, but didn't give me the punchline. Okay. I'm alive. Michael says, I'm alive, LMAO. Loving
Awesome.
my A off. No court date. Okay. With that, I got to go. It's been a slice. I'm not going to play the song today. I pulled just because I'm short on time. So I am. I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Out of here. So
I'm
that
outta
means
here.
I got it too.
You too. But just because I saw it, Zed Connors, 187 says, do you think stunt driving charges should have harsher consequences so people learn?
They do have escalating sanctions.
Well,
Charges
they do.
do
You
go
can get a
up.
lifetime ban. Three convictions. You can get a lifetime ban of driving. The first one is $2,000 to $10,000, a 1 to 3 year driving prohibition, up to 6 months in jail. And second time, the only changes is really the driving prohibition, 3 to 10 years. Third time, it's lifetime. And I think they should crush cars, sell cars, seize cars. I think you should lose your wheels. It should be a bigger impact. I would love to see that. But apparently it's not happening. So with that, we will say toodaloo and drive sober, drive safe, drive legally, park legally, be happy, smile. You know, these are all these good things. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. I'll press this just to have something as we fade out.